Hello everyone, welcome to my PHP tutorials. This is the introduction to PHP and I'm just going to talk about what it is and why we use it, etc. So what it stands for is a hypertext preprocessor, or is an acronym for that. And PHP is a back-end programming language, which is also known as a server-side programming language. If you're learning PHP, you've obviously done HTML and CSS. It is recommended that you learn JavaScript before, but if you haven't, you can pick it up as you go along. And they're all client side, which means that it runs inside the browser or your local computer. However, PHP, the server side comes in because you have to run a server, and that's where it runs. And HTML and CSS, they're useful for like making links and putting in videos and making the website look nice and pretty. But what happens if you want to make it more dynamic? Like a login, for example, where you can create a user, then you can log in, and then you can post on a forum. You know, this all requires information that you need to store, and that's where the database comes in. So if you have no database, you can't store information on your website. So in order to connect your database to the website, you're going to need a server-side language, and that's what PHP is. PHP is a very relevant and popular language. Tech giants such as Facebook and WordPress still use PHP today. And PHP isn't just connecting to databases. It can also create cookies or start a session after a user logs in. However, to do all this, you do need server access, and you can do this by setting up a local server before we can use PHP. And starting off with PHP, it can be very intimidating, or it can be very hard to click. By click, I mean that, you know, when you're with HTML and CSS and something won't work, and trial it, like, you know, relentless trial and error causes you a frustrating headache, and then, you know, after it finally clicks, and then the more you do that, you see the problems reoccurring, but, you know, it's easier to just piece the puzzle together. PHP, there's a lot of code interact with each other, and then when it comes to the database as well, interacting with the code, it can be very stressful, cause lots of headaches, and it's just not fun at the very start. So just it can be very hard, although, you know, in due course it gets a lot easier as you pick up the fundamentals, you know. So even though it can be frustrating at the start, I wouldn't be too worried. Just practice makes perfect. It gets easier as you go along. So in the next video, I'll be talking about how to set up a local server. It's very simple and straightforward, so I'll see you next time. Thanks.